Hello everyone, welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode we are talking about the Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor post-fight analysis. We're gonna be talking about the fight. I'm answering your questions. Thank you for all of you for sending your comments and questions. Great fight, loved it. Mystic Mantas, we had somebody who won the grand prize of $10,000. I gave that away last night. Check out my last video. $10,000 was given away to a man named Mantas from Lithuania who predicted a 10-round TKO. Referee jumps in to save Conor McGregor. He said that Conor McGregor would get tired and then he start getting lit up and the referee would have to save him. Now, I'm going to go through all the fight. I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to keep this video a little bit shorter than usual because I already talked about the fight more than once. So I'm going to try to keep this video a little bit shorter. Before I get started, I just want to give a quick thank you to TimTam.tech, our channel sponsor. They make the world's best deep tissue therapy device. If you guys go see a therapist or you get physical therapy or you use lacrosse balls to massage your body or foam rollers, drop all that, get yourself a TimTam. TimTam.tech makes the world's best deep tissue therapy device. This device is amazing. I used to use a DMS. A DMS is a deep muscle stimulator. It's a $3,000 device that they use in the NFL, Major League Baseball. All the top athletes use it. It's a stainless steel device, and that's why it's so expensive. And it's a cord. It's a device that takes a cord. TimTam.tech has a way better device for it. It's 10 times cheaper, much more affordable, and it's a physiotherapist in your back pocket. You got the best physiotherapy, best deep tissue therapy you can get. It works better than the DMS and it's cheaper. It's not stainless steel, so it's a personal device. It's not something you want to share with 12 other teammates. Okay, so check out TimTam.tech and pick yourself up a TimTam. Now, I'm going to get started with the comments and questions, but I got to say, this channel is so oriented towards MMA that I can tell when we have boxing fans jump on. A lot of boxing fans have jumped on this channel in the last few episodes, and I can tell because the comments are so negative. The comments are so critical. The boxing fans have such a different culture. They have such a different type of demeanor, and I find that in MMA or martial arts we have a lot higher respect. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind when you start posting comments underneath this channel. Boxers, we respect your sport, but you must also respect the MMA fighter. The MMA fighter is just as disciplined. He is just as skilled. He is just as talented. Every type of athlete you have in boxing, we have that in MMA. It's just a different sport. It's a different animal. And of course, boxers on average will be much better punchers than MMA fighters. MMA fighters have to cultivate a wide variety of skills. They have to cultivate a wide variety of skills. Once in a while, you have an MMA fighter beat a boxer in boxing. Why? Why would somebody be able to beat someone else in their sport when that someone else has been cultivating that particular need? So, for instance, if I'm training all day long in boxing and then some guy from MMA who practices wrestling, boxing, kicking, jiu-jitsu, and striking and boxing, but he comes and he beats me. We've been training the same amount of years. How could that be? Well, there's an athleticism component. There's some people are anomalies. Some people are born with incredible reaction time. Some people are born with incredible power. Just how your arm has a certain length to it has nothing to do with your training. Some people are built to fight and be more efficient in certain ways. Okay, so what we wanted to see from Mayweather and McGregor, is McGregor an anomaly? Is McGregor a freak that he can beat a guy who's been doing the sport 100 times more than he has? Can that happen? That was really the question. It wasn't can MMA beat boxing. Okay, so let's take that off the table. If we were to take 100 boxers versus 100 MMA fighters and put them all in boxing, 99% of the boxers would win. There would be one guy who's a freak, or one guy who's a real good athlete, one guy who got lucky, whatever you want to call it. But if we took 100 boxers and put them in an MMA fight against 100 MMA guys, one boxer would land a lucky punch, or one boxer would get away with it. Maybe more than one. Okay, I'm being very general with the numbers here. Okay, don't hold me to these numbers. These are just I'm just trying to make a point here. Okay, maybe it's 95% of the boxers win in MMA. I don't know. Okay, Ray Mercer beat Tim Sylvia. He landed a beautiful punch. Now Tim Sylvia is not a grappler. He's not a wrestler really. He's just a counter wrestler. That makes a little more sense. There are a lot of thoughts to juggle. Okay, but one thing I really want to knock home is, boxers, you don't have to be so insecure. We know you're great at boxing. We love the boxing world. MMA loves the boxing world. But why does the boxing world look down on MMA? That I'll never understand. It's a very tough sport, MMA. It's a grueling sport. It's very tough. As much as boxing or more. As much as boxing or more. Okay. So I'm gonna get started with your questions. Please keep that in mind because I got a lot of the top comments and questions were all pretty negative, and I didn't agree with the vast majority of them. So here I'm going to start with the first one. This one is from Romance. Romance says, I'm guessing the reason Mayweather wasn't cutting off Conor was to keep Conor moving and not recovering, while Mayweather to have a low output, engaging with me, not much higher output for Floyd as well. So in my initial comments on the fight, I said I didn't understand why Mayweather wasn't cutting off the ring. He was chasing McGregor around in circles. And I was like, I wonder why. I hope some reporter asks him. Did he just forget? Is it something, sometimes even the top professionals forget the basic stuff. You're in that fight, you're thinking so many things, you drop a ball. Or was it something tactical? Was he trying to make the fight last longer? I don't know. Some people are saying that Mayweather was trying to bet on the 10th round on himself or whatnot. Lots of craziness. But what you're saying here, Romance, is it was saving Floyd energy as well. And if Floyd was cutting him off, it would have cost him more energy because he'd have to punch more. I personally think that Mayweather can punch for 12 rounds almost endlessly. Okay, his cardio for punching is almost not. It's not endless, but it's way more than what he was using. Way more. He didn't throw a lot for a Mayweather fight. Okay, it wasn't that he wasn't so busy that I thought he was in danger of gassing. If he cut off McGregor, he would have made McGregor work more. Making McGregor circle around helps McGregor recover. It helps him. Because if you cut him off, you're forcing him to plant his legs and punch. And it costs more energy to punch and fight than it does to move around. That's why the guys move around, right? One is to adjust the range, and two is to slow the pace of the fight down. I think that not cutting off the ring did slow the fight down. Now, maybe Mayweather wanted to slow it down a little bit early on in the fight, but once things got heated and McGregor's power went really low, much lower than that makes it very dangerous for for Mayweather. Why didn't he cut off the ring? He didn't cut off the ring for the entirety of the fight, almost the entirety of the fight. Even Paulie Malignaggi said, McGregor's not cutting off the ring. He's not cutting off the ring, and he was saying in sparring, I cut off the ring more than Mayweather did, and I had more success in that phase of the fight. Go back and listen to Malignaggi's comments. He's a two-time world champion. I think 9 out of 10 boxers would agree he had to cut off the ring. It would have been more efficient. Did Mayweather want to prolong the fight? Did he just forget? I don't know. So again, I have to disagree with you. Cutting off the ring would have made McGregor work even harder. And it could have possibly ended the fight sooner. Next comment or question here is from, let me pop this up. This one's from Bez29. McGregor didn't defend himself or throw a single punch for an entire minute. How was that an early stoppage? It was definitely not early by boxing standards. In my post-fight comments, I said that I thought it was an early stoppage. No, I didn't. I didn't say it was an early stoppage. I said, or maybe I did. Okay, maybe I did. I said I would have liked it to finish on the mat, like McGregor said. McGregor said he would have liked to hit the canvas. McGregor said it was early, and yes, you're right. I did agree with him. I do agree that if it's a title fight and there's a $1 million belt on the line and it's the fight of the century, let it hit the canvas. Why? Because if there's a 1% chance something goes right or wrong for one boxer, let it be. Let's let it play out. You're right. I don't disagree with the stoppage. I'm not saying that Mayweather was on his way to win. All I'm saying is if McGregor just took a knee, let him decide. If he wants out, just take a knee. It's over. If he takes a knee, the fight's over. Just don't get up. McGregor wanted to fight to the bitter end because he had a belief that something might turn his way. And you never know. We've seen it. It's rare. It's a 1% chance. It's a 2% chance. Whatever it is. It does happen. And there's so much on the line. If I was in his shoes, I'd want to hit the canvas as well. Let me go out all the way. And that way there would be no more debate about it. So was his health in danger? I don't know. It didn't. I'm not saying the stoppage was wrong. It was good. It's just there was so much on the line. When it's a title fight, don't stop the fight. If it wasn't a title fight and they stopped it, I'd be like, look, safety first, that guy will come back. That was the one-time chance. McGregor will never have a Mayweather rematch, very likely, okay? It's not impossible, but it's never going to happen again. The $1 million belt and all this fight of the century may never happen again. Let him do it to the end. And if he feels he's in danger, he'll take a knee. Let him decide for himself. That was just my point. It was not an early stoppage by boxing standards. I agree with you. Just let the fighter decide. Next, this one is from Chris Yacomin. Conor mentioned after the fight that he has two main problems, two areas he has to develop. One is halfway through the fight, he has that dip. And two, when fighters use that bull guard and come forward, it suffocates him. And Diaz used it, Mayweather used it. It's a weakness of his. And Chris is asking me what I would do to help him. What advice would I give him to help him solve that problem? Well, in my opinion, McGregor was doing a lot of great things technically. He was. He was solving that problem quite well. He was doing well. He won rounds. However, he was fighting too hard. His pace was incorrect. He was fighting too hard. He was spending too much energy. He's in great shape. He's very technical. However, he's just not economical enough. That's all it is. Really what it is. You have to learn to give up rounds. You have to learn to recover in the rounds. I always tell my fighters, recovering in the round is a skill. Don't try to recover on the stool only. That's part of recovery. You also have to recover in the fight. And when you're good at recovering in the fight, you won't be so worried about cardio anymore. You have to learn how to recover within the round. And Mayweather just showed exactly how to do that. He showed how to be the smartest guy when it comes to cardio. Look at him. Every round looked like it was his first round. He looked fresh as a daisy. There was no wear on McGregor. There was no wear on Mayweather. He looked fresh throughout the entire fight. Next question, Mr. Young. Mr. Young asks, Floyd Mayweather showed absolutely no respect for Conor's power and skill. Watch Floyd's fights. He never fought the way he fought against McGregor. He literally walked down McGregor with little regards for Conor's supposed power. Floyd barely even used his shoulder roll. Floyd didn't care much for defense after round 2. So, Mr. Young, you're saying that Mayweather felt his shots and decided just to bull rush him. Now, there's a lot to be said about that. A lot of people, Mayweather said, look, I want to show the fans an exciting fight. This is his last fight. He wanted to make up for the Pac-Man fight. That's his narrative. That's what he was saying. Now, you're saying that's not true. I'm assuming you're disagreeing with him, and I'm assuming you're saying, look, Conor just has no power. Well, I totally disagree with you. Conor has a lot of power. However, he cannot maintain that power as long as a boxer can. Why? Okay, well, let's say you look at a 100-meter sprinter. Okay? And you make him race a 1,000-meter sprinter. Who's going to win the race in 1,000 meters? Well, the 1,000-meter sprinter. The 100-meter sprinter is going to take off, and then that halfway through the race, at least halfway through the race, the 1,000-meter sprinter is going to take over and just blow the 100-meter sprinter away. Now, who's faster? Well, the faster guy is the meters per second. That's what I would define you as the fastest. The fastest guy is the 100 meters per second. The 100-meter runner. Because he goes through more meters per second. Now, the 1,000-meter guy has more endurance. McGregor, when he fights in MMA, doesn't have to throw as many punches as he would have to throw in a boxing fight. Remember, McGregor, when he trains, he has to divide his training time between kicking, punching, kneeing, elbowing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, various chokeholds, escapes, such a variety of things. If he trained solely on boxing his entire life, don't you think that his power output would be able to be stretched out? Don't you think he would have prepared for a 12-round fight? Don't you think that his power would last longer than it did after he converted from MMA? If take all the wrestling training he's ever done in his life, take all the grappling training he's ever done in his life, take all the kicking training he's ever done in his life, all the Muay Thai clinching training he's ever done in his life, all those thousands and thousands of hours, dump them all into his punching skills. Don't you think his power output would last longer? I think so. Okay, so it's a question of punches per minute. It's a question of meters per second. He cannot keep up that pace, so his power output drops. That's how I see it. He's not trained to punch that many times per second. That's all it is. And he's a very dangerous puncher. He's a very precise and skilled counter puncher. However, when he doesn't have the use of his legs, it makes for a whole different ballgame. But that's what he's trained to fight. He's trained to fight with his legs as well. So I don't agree with you. I don't think he's the... Look, don't get me wrong. I don't think he has the greatest punching power of all time or anything either. You know, if I had to put the top 100 top punchers I've ever seen, I don't know if McGregor... I'm talking about all fighting in every sport. Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing. You know, he might be in that list, but he wouldn't be in the top 50. He wouldn't be in the top 30. You know, he wouldn't be that high. But he still is a great puncher. He's a phenomenal puncher. And there's more to fighting than being a big puncher, definitely. Okay, he's precise. His counters are well picked out. His eyes are really, really, really sharp. I mean, he has so many other great qualities. One quality that he has as well is that he's a great puncher. Now, he's no Canelo. He's not Triple G. I agree. Okay, but Triple G and Canelo is no McGregor either. Okay, put those guys in his sport. You know, they're gonna fall short. So that's my answer to you. It's a question of training. It's not a question of. It's a question of endurance. He can't maintain it that long. He's not trained to maintain it that long. Next one here. This one is from John Gorius. For us, I felt like Floyd chewed all counter shots. He's not a puncher that night as he is in MMA. He's a weak puncher in the boxing world. I just answered that one. Okay, so again, disagree. You're right. If you take him as he is as a mixed martial artist, almost no mixed martial artist will be a puncher. You know, like I remember a time when Anderson Silva wanted to fight Roy Jones Jr. I would have watched that fight. I think that fight would have been epic. But I would pick Roy Jones to win 100%. 100%. 99%, okay? Anything can happen. 99%. But still, you know, if you put Anderson Silva a whole lifetime of boxing, maybe he would beat Roy Jones. I don't think he would. I think Roy Jones was an anomaly, like a freak of nature. I watch him all the time. I don't think he would, but it would make the fight a lot better. Obviously, if you're spending time grappling, kicking, doing all sorts of other sports, your boxing's going to suffer. Best 29. Are you really going to commend McGregor's use of wrestling moves in the boxing match? He got away with way too much, in my opinion. I said in my post-fight analysis, my post-fight comments, I said that McGregor did a great job of wrestling in the match. If you notice in the fight, McGregor grabbed and tied up. He used so many wrestling moves against Mayweather. Mayweather knows nothing about wrestling. The referee knew nothing about what McGregor was doing. The referee was telling Mayweather to stop turning around. It was McGregor. McGregor did a slide by, grabbed his hip, pulled him in. It was McGregor turning him around. McGregor was getting behind but locking the hip in, not allowing Mayweather to adjust and then hitting him from the back. Grabbing your opponent and wrestling him is illegal in wrestling, in boxing. However, it's almost unavoidable. Some referees let it happen. I do agree with you that many referees would have made a big difference in the fight. A different referee would have made a huge difference. A lot of referees would have taken away a point. A lot of referees would have noticed that McGregor was grabbing, doing rabbit punches, hammer fists behind the head. A lot of referees, the no-nonsense referees, would have taken away a point. And the fight could have ended a lot earlier because those clinching exchanges did help McGregor a lot, you know. Next one here. This one's from 109. That uppercut is madly overrated too. May hit McGregor's shoulder as it was coming up, plus Mayweather hit Mayweather's chest first. McGregor hit Mayweather with a beautiful uppercut in round number 1. He slipped Mayweather's right hand and came up with an uppercut and it hit Mayweather right on the chin. 109, I disagree with you. Mayweather didn't hit McGregor's shoulder. He might have grazed it a little bit, and yes, McGregor did touch Mayweather's chest a little bit, but that uppercut hit him hard. It was a beautiful shot by McGregor. It was a brilliant maneuver. And the speed that McGregor showed, the reaction, the slipping of that punch, countering immediately like a computer. Mayweather throws his right, his blitzing right hand. Mayweather has a blitzing, beautiful dart arrow of a right hand. And McGregor countered it beautifully. It was amazing. Don't knock it, man. That was a beautiful shot. Even Mayweather was surprised. I guarantee you. He even kind of like, I thought I saw a little stubble. Watch that fight again. He was taken aback and he started to reset. And you saw that it wasn't nothing. It was a big shot, okay? Mayweather kept his poker face. But that was a very, very significant shot. Best 29. He's quoting me, I believe, here. Mayweather has never fought like this before. unquote. Not true. He has fought aggressively before. Watch the Sugar Shane Mosley fight. He was aggressive in many fights early in his career. I agree with you early in his career where he didn't look unbeatable. Mayweather did not look unbeatable, and he was fighting lesser competition. He did fight a few fights inside the pockets, and a couple of his early fights, he was in a war. I agree with you. I wasn't talking about those fights. I'm talking about Money Mayweather. So you're right to bring that up. I'm talking about Money Mayweather after he became a megastar, after the De La Hoya fight, after he became this monstrous, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of all time. He's never fought like that. And even in the Sugar Shane Mosley, he did not fight like that. He picked Sugar Shane Mosley apart. Remember after, I think it was round 3 or 4, Roger Mayweather was telling him, hey, Floyd, go back to boxing. Go back to boxing. Because he did early on get into a little of a brawl. But the rest of the fight was just Mayweather picking him apart, boxing style. Okay? So rewatch that fight again. I watched that fight quite a bit, Mayweather versus Mosley. There's a lot to learn in that fight. I love that fight. I watch it quite a bit. And it was one of my favorite Mayweather fights. Tough fight. But Mayweather just shined in that fight. Come on, man. Those last 7-8 rounds were just Mayweather. And the commentators were just like, look, this is an easy fight for Mayweather. So how could you say he fought in that sense? He did not. He did not. Okay, guys. Next one here is... This one's from Conor McGregor. Okay, Conor McGregor avatar. Please talk about the scorecards. Look, the scorecards totally sucked, man. They were horrible. The judges gave, I think it was 1 round to McGregor the whole way. I think it's 2 out of the 3 judges. I'm not even sure. McGregor won at least, in my opinion, at the worst, were 3 rounds. At the least. The second round, I agree, Mayweather landed some harder shots, but his volume was still less. And round 8 was a very close round. If I remember correctly, it was round 8. Later rounds, McGregor came back a little bit. It was a close round. I could agree with Mayweather was less busy, but his shots were more significant. I could agree with that. I'm not saying I go by the numbers. I don't go by the numbers either. Okay, the guy at the ringside pushing buttons, I agree. It's not the most accurate. It's definitely not accurate. It's definitely not 100% accurate. It's one person's perspective. However, I can't see McGregor not winning at least 3 rounds. 4. I gave him 3-4. He did a great job in winning rounds. He performed super well. He went in there with arguably the best pound-for-pound boxer we have today. Even though Mayweather was a lot smaller and you could tell a lot of things, he put on a great fight. It was an epic fight. The fans were entertained. I was supremely entertained. I can talk for myself only. It was a supremely entertaining fight, and McGregor stood strong and he fought to the bitter end. And he showed some beautiful boxing skills. I think the boxing judges are very in awe of Mayweather. They love their sport. They have a prestige to their sport. They don't want to see an MMA guy come in and even remotely do well. They know they'll be criticized by their peers. They know that maybe all the boxing culture, they're going to look down at MMA fighters. Guys, it's only a matter of time before MMA takes over. It's only a matter of time. MMA is going to take over. It's going to be the most watched combat sport, if it's not already. It will be the most watched combat sport ever. Boxing will be its little brother. I hate to say it. Okay, don't get all pissed off at me. I know a lot of boxing fans are going to jump in on this post-fight analysis because it's rare that I get negative comments. But here we are in the boxing world, crossing over MMA. Guys, respect has to be both ways. Do not step on the MMA fighters. They are phenomenal athletes. They are freak athletes, just how you have freak athletes in boxing. We have incredible, talented individuals in MMA. So, and in every sport. Okay, in every sport. So, you're right, Mr. McGregor. The scorecards were extremely biased. I found them. I didn't study them. I didn't go look at them. But I heard that only 1 round was given to McGregor. I thought that was really biased. This one's from Samboy. It was easy wrestling clinch work until McGregor got tired. ? So I said, look, it was easy clinching. Mayweather's gonna have a hard time in the clinch. McGregor cannot clinch him all day. A lot of boxing fans interjected and said, Mayweather's the best in the clinch. He's so good. Da, da, da. Guys, and my reply was nowhere near a wrestler. Nowhere near a wrestler. McGregor's wrestling 15, 20 years of his life. Do you think you're gonna go out there and not clinch him? Come on, McGregor just clinched him like a baby. Even so much that Mayweather was just covering up and turtling up. It had no response. And Sambo, you're trying to say, oh, well, when he got tired, though, the clinching wasn't working enough. Yeah, but it was those right hands. It was those shots to the head. You know, they weakened you. And then yes, Mayweather's clinching tactics were effective. After in the fight, they were more and more effective. Mayweather tried to break the clinch early on in the fight, and he had very limited success. Limited. He was getting tied up a lot. Round 8, 9, 10. 9 and 10, he started breaking the clinch quick. You're right. But those shots to the chin, you know, they weaken McGregor's legs. They weaken his reaction time. He's going to telegraph more. But if we're talking about their clinching skills, guys, pure clinching skills, McGregor's 100 times a better clincher. 100 times. No doubt about it. That's just my perspective. Feel free to disagree. All right, guys, I believe that was the last question. Yes, it was. All right, I'm going to give you guys just my final comments before I wrap this up. Guys, keep this channel positive. I love doing these videos for you. TimTam.tech supporting this channel. We have new sponsors on the way. We're going to make this channel bigger and bigger. We've reached 100,000 subscribers. I know a lot of you boxing fans are jumping on here trying to defend your man, Mayweather. We're not attacking him. The MMA community loves boxing. We love Mayweather. All of us watch you guys. We love the talent you guys bring to the table. All we need is a mutual respect. If you're not convinced about MMA, go in your friendly MMA gym and try. Try a little wrestling. Try a little jiu-jitsu. Imagine what your boxing would be like if you can add these dimensions. You know, it just makes you a more complete fighter. It's fun. Punching your way into a takedown, punching your way into a takedown, then getting a submission. It's fun. We enjoy it. You know, let's all respect each other's sports and keep it as positive as usual. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next episode.
Bonjour, mon nom est Marc-Élie Toussaint, je suis entraîneur de sprint depuis 23 ans. Je travaille au niveau de la vitesse avec Georges Saint-Pierre depuis 4 ans. Je viens de tester le TimTam, c'est le meilleur instrument au niveau du relâchement musculaire que j'ai testé de toute ma carrière. Je le recommande à tous.
When you train a lot, you get tight. The best way to loosen up your muscle is the TimTam. Hi, I'm Georges Saint-Pierre. I'm using the TimTam machine after my training to help me with my recovery.